Number 5 on this list already sparked a debate.
Good speed. He gets the ball. He gets down the field. He's just a guy that I'm waiting for the number 1 wide receiver to come along so he can really be that
Shine.
too. Man, Jameson Williams, when he breaks down, it's in and out. It's in and out.
God,
and
I can't wait for this.
And he's just as fast as Calvin was, if not faster.
This is when I was like, oh, man, there aren't that many great wide receivers in the NFC North, is there? So this list came out from Sports Illustrated, and I sent it to the group last night. I thought it was an interesting list. It says the top 5 wide receivers in the NFC North. Yeah. And 2 rookies made the list.
Yep.
A second-year wide receiver made 2 second-year wide receivers made the list.
Yes.
And then Justin Jefferson, who I think we can all agree that's where this list should begin, is number 1, Justin Jefferson. We can check that off. He's the best wide receiver in the entire NFC North, correct?
He arguably could be the best receiver in the NFL. So, yes, he's definitely NFC North. He's number 1.
Yeah. Maz, any disputes over Justin Jefferson being the number 1?
Not even close.
We should go back. Well, yeah, that's fine.
I just wanted to clear that one out of the way, and then we'll go back. But Flannel Sam, you usually sometimes have some interesting takes. Justin Jefferson, not a good wide receiver in your book?
Oh, no, he's the number 1 in the NFC North by a country mile.
Okay, country mile, damn. All right. Well, then let's do the reverse from here, right? So we'll go 5 to 1. You already know what number 1 is. That's because it was a given. It was a layup. We could just establish that and throw it away. Number 5 on this list already sparked a debate.
Right.
And it's interesting. Romeo Doubs, or Dobbs, I believe it's Doubs. He's from Nevada. He's a rookie wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. They drafted him in the 4th round this year. And what's interesting about this is they took Christian Watson, I believe, in the 1st round this year, correct?
Yeah, they traded up to get him, I think.
They traded up to get a wide receiver, but he's not on this list. Their second wide receiver is on this list. Braylon, how do you feel about that?
To me, I mean, I understand it, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what they were seeing, but no. They were looking at it from the standpoint of Dobbs' his performance. In his 4 years, the stats that he had, they were looking at what he did versus Christian Watson's a guy that is barely still an unknown. He's trying to find his footing, so I guess they looked at it from that regard. And I get that, and that's cool. But I look at it like this. They're both going to be playing with Aaron Rodgers. Romeo Doubs is going to be your Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb at no point was anybody's number 1 wide receiver, but he was a damn good wide receiver. He's a damn good number 2, and he was for a couple different teams. Your number 1 guy was Devontae Adams. That's what you're going to get out of Christian Watson. Christian Watson is the guy they're looking to be their number 1 guy, and you have Aaron Rodgers, who's going to make it that much easier to help him get to that number 1 spot. So I don't think that Dobbs should be over Christian Watson on this list. In fact, I don't think either one of them should be in the top 5. I think that they should be 6 and 7. They should be on the outside. But if you're going to have lift, I understand why Dobbs is ahead of Christian Watson, because he has 4 years of playing wide receiver at a school that we know passes the ball in Nevada. We've known a lot of guys to go there and have success, so I understand why they did that. But they shouldn't be on the top 5.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Christian Watson. You're going off potential, right?
Yeah.
His ceiling is much higher than Dobbs or Doubs coming straight out. Yeah. But this guy coming straight out, he's 6'2". He runs a good 40. He runs good routes. He's a solid wide receiver. He's a kind of plug-and-play guy in the offense who's going to show instantaneous numbers just ripping off the season.
His junior year, Romeo Doubs had 43 catches, I believe, just for under 1,000 or just over 1,000. And then his senior year, he had 80 catches, but for 1,100 yards. So there were 37 more catches, but there were only 100 more yards of production. So that has me cause for concern as well. But like I said, these guys should be at 6 and 7, and you can rotate them how you want to.
Okay.
Here's the kicker on that. Nevada, right?
Yeah.
That was the quarterback I wanted the Lions to take a free agent shot at, Carson Strong. I think the Eagles grabbed him, if I'm not mistaken, as an unrestricted free agent. Big old Carson Strong. So he's the guy that got the ball to Dobbs or Doubs, or whatever you want to call him.
All right, let's move on to number 4 on this list, because then there's also a couple Lions on this list that I want to get to. Number 4, Darnell Mooney, who was pretty much the only wide receiver on the Bears last year. Allen Robinson left. He's gone now. The Bears are what they are. Mooney, to your point earlier, that was the only time you really saw their young quarterback come alive, when he was throwing to him. How do you think Mooney's going to do coming out this year?
Darnell Mooney's a stud. Like, Darnell Mooney can run every route in the book. He does extremely well with the sideline routes, which you keep the chains going, you extend the chains, and as a young quarterback, it's easier to keep the ball away from the defense by throwing those deep outs, those deep comebacks as well. Good speed. He gets the ball. He gets down the field. Plays in all the positions as well. You see him in the slot. You see him on the outside. And you see him right to left. Guy that can play. And like you said, That's the only time I saw Justin Fields look like the Justin Fields from Ohio State was he was throwing the ball to Darnell Mooney. Looked like they have some chemistry. Looked like they're going to have something coming forward or going forward in this season. I like their chemistry. I like what they're going to be able to do, and I like Darnell Mooney. I think I had him on my list. I had him 4, actually.
You had him at 4?
I had him 4. Number 5, I had Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, okay. Well, that leads us right on in because
yeah.
that's who Sports Illustrated has number 3 in the entire NFC North. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the number 3 wide receiver. Obviously, no drops last year, ton of targets near the end of the season, reliable, can pretty much run the ball as well as hit the slot position. They had him playing the one position every once in a while, too.
Yeah.
The guy's versatile. Amon-Ra St. Brown should definitely be on the top 5 list, but as a second-year player already listed at number 3, this is when I was like, oh, man, there aren't that many great wide receivers in the NFC North, is there?
No, there aren't.
And that's not a knock on Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No,
I don't mean to
no.
knock him like that. I'm just saying, damn, if Amon-Ra St. Brown came in 1 year, unexpected production, he's already the 3rd best wide receiver, some issues.
Yeah, I had him listed at number 5, and the reason I have him listed at number 5 is because I take Darnell Mooney and what I saw last year over him. Darnell Mooney has got to play outside a little bit more. I got a chance to see in and out, but mostly outside, which means the number 1, number 2 dominant type guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown has hands. He will not drop anything. I love that. But he played more in the slot. Yeah, he played more in the slot. He's a guy that he's just a guy that I'm waiting for the number 1 wide receiver to come along so he can really be that
shine.
too. And then he can really shine, etc. So I can't put him above Darnell Mooney, but I like him at 5. I think 3 is an interesting spot. I actually had a guy on this list. I can't believe he's not on this list. I had Adam Thielen at 3.
Yeah, I was shocked that Thielen wasn't on this list as well.
I can see why they don't have it. If you look at Adam Thielen's production over the last couple of years, it's been falling off and dropping off at an exponential rate. The last time he had over 1,000 yards was, I think he had 1,200. That was 3 seasons ago. I think Stephon Diggs was still there. I think that was the last time Stephon Diggs was there. Last year, he only had 700. The year before that, he had 885 or 935, one of the two. The production is starting to come up, and you're wondering, is Adam Thielen still the guy? Is Adam Thielen still able to run those routes? Does he still have those speeds, have those little injuries, those nicks and knacks and getting beat up? NFC North is a physical division. Whether you're playing outside in Chicago in December or Lambeau Field, some good defenses out here, man. So you wonder if those knickknacks start to catch up with him and they're taking his game into a declination position. So I wonder, but based off what I've seen when he's at his top, I still got to have him at 3 on this list.
He's definitely taken a beating over the past 3 years. There's no question about it. But there was no better possession receiver. You know, if you wanted a touchdown or a first down, you know, you went to Adam Thielen. But he's not the same guy anymore. He just isn't.
Seems like I'm over here eating ice, man. Apologies. It's so good when you eat ice, man. But it seems like he took all those big plays to take the big hits, like you said. When Stephon Diggs was there, they used him on the go routes. They used him on the comeback routes. They used him on the slants. They used him on a lot of routes that protect you from the big hit, that allow you on the underneath routes, allow you to get to the sideline. Seemed like Thielen was a guy doing the big crossing routes to get beat up and catch the first down. Seemed like he was doing the big post in cover 2 where they're throwing the little hole shots to get you hit. So it seems like a lot of those things are starting to catch up. Meanwhile, Stephon Diggs he's still fast as ever in Buffalo.
I got to ask you, going back to Amon-Ra St. Brown, how much of a benefit was there for him that there really wasn't a top-end wide receiver last year? Do you think that kind of fluffed his numbers up a little bit with like Josh Reynolds getting there late and stuff like that? Or do you think those are actual numbers that he's going to be able to produce year in and year out?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
I think it's a bit of both. You look and you see Josh Reynolds got there late. Quintez Cephas was hurt. Khalif Raymond is a guy that they weren't going to give the ball to like that. So it allowed him to play more than he probably would have if they had a guy last year like DJ Chark. If they had a guy like Jameson Williams that's already on the team, he wouldn't have been able to do that. But with that said, you still got to make plays when you're put in that position. You still got to know the offense. You still got to be dependable and accountable. And he was that, and he didn't drop passes. So that's why I say I think it's a mixture of both. I think he is that good, but I think it also helped him that he was able to get in there early before anybody got there.
Well, you brought the name up, and that is who is number 2 on this list without ever taking an NFL snap. We don't know how he's healed, but Sports Illustrated has Jameson Williams as the number 2 wide receiver in the NFC North, citing that the Lions have never had a wide receiver of this caliber, is what they said in the article, which Megatron. But they were more talking about his speed and his ability to break down and take the top off of the defense. They said we've never seen anything like this in Detroit.
So I'll start with why he's ranked over Amon-Ra St. Brown and these other guys. I think it's rightfully so. It's deservingly so. If you look at the SEC, first of all, if you look at wide receivers in the SEC, if you look at wide receivers in kids now anyway, they're starting at 8 years old. Matt showed you guys a video 2 weeks of an 8-year-old on the treadmill with his father, getting after, just running, 8 years old. You're seeing these guys, they're breaking down film at 12, at 13.
It's different.
They're understanding how to run around cones and get in and out of routes and do cone drills and rope drills and ladder drills. So when they get to SEC, which is like playing in the NFL anyway, especially if it's Alabama and Georgia, I mean, that's an NFL game at the end of the day. Look at what Jalen Waddle did last year. He goes down to the Miami Dolphins. He's a rookie. What does he do? 1,100 yards. Look at what Justin Jefferson did his rookie year with the Minnesota Vikings. 1,400 yards. Guess who broke his record the following year, last year? Oh, Jamar Chase, another SEC guy. And this guy was better than all three of them. If you look at what the SEC does, just those two schools or just those three schools, those guys are ready as soon as they step on the field. I think looking at it from that point of view, he's ready right now. And the reason why he's ranked above Amon-Ra St. Brown, he was ranked above Amon-Ra St. Brown a year and a half ago. Right. They both were in college.
That's
so
fair.
What changed?
That's true.
So you got to look from that way.
His injury.
Now, that doesn't change anything. I actually was a better wideout after my ACL. I actually scored 16 touchdowns the year after that. If you want to go to why they had him better than Calvin, it's because Calvin had a handicap that it's not a handicap, but it's a handicap. Calvin's 6'5.5". So it takes a lot longer for a 6'5.5" guy to break down in a route. Like if Calvin's running a comeback, it's going to take him a little longer to break down that comeback, which allows the defensive back a little more time to come into Calvin, to get to that ball. Now, he's still going to get there, but it takes a little longer. Man, Jameson Williams, when he breaks down, it's in and out. It's in and out.
God,
and
I can't wait for this.
And he's just as fast as Calvin was, if not faster. So when you look at it from that point of view, this guy could be something special, but I'm not going to go that far yet because Calvin is 10 years in the Hall of Fame. So.